The protagonist of the story, Kongoji Yutaka, is the elite son of a super-rich business tycoon and is constantly criticized for his extravagant spending habits. But he is not worried since he is completely loaded. His monthly allowance goes up to 200,000 yen when he reaches his second year, and so he turns into a shameless spendthrift. Dude's wallet got more cardio than him. It is revealed that he is a die-hard otaku, and his social life is almost negligible. Especially, he claims to be the biggest fan of actress Kanemin Sakurako. In fact, she is one special drive that motivates him to buy her things. He is madly in love with the character she voices and is so obsessed with her. Bro out here dating JPEGs with confidence. His classmates make fun of him for spending hundreds of thousands of dollars just on some romantic doodlings. However, Yutaka considers them as foes who don't understand him at all. He feels that by spending money like that, he keeps himself and his idol happy, and considers himself responsible for boosting the economy by supporting such companies. Economy going brr, thanks to one simp. His thoughts are rudely interrupted by a young lass who inquires her friends about the latest post of her shooting in Harajuku. Her friends think that she looked absolutely fabulous in those shoots. She is none other than Hinata Reno, the star of the class's cheerful group. She woke up, chose glam, and conquered. Yutaka doesn't fancy her because she is loud and flashy. For this reason, he has never tried to approach her. Currently, when he enters the classroom, he is furious at seeing her sitting carelessly on his desk. He hesitantly approaches her. Warning: introvert approaching human contact. When Hinata looks up at him, he is stunned to find her very attractive from the closer front. Quite meekly, he points to his desk, and Hinata immediately lifts her firm rice cakes from his property. A relieved Yutaka turns away, but is immediately called by Hinata, who boldly offers him to interact freely with her. Poor Yutaka freaks out at her audacity and snobbish behavior. Meanwhile, Hinata's friends express their curiosity about her smooth, shiny hair, so Hinata generously mentions the product she is using and also claims that a monthly visit to the salon helps. Her friends are awestruck at her high maintenance, thinking that she might be having a lot of bread. Girl got more hair secrets than CIA files. Hinata advises them to pick up part-time gigs since they helped her a lot. Yutaka has been unintentionally eavesdropping on their conversation and realizes that normal people spend their money on ordinary stuff. He compares his personality with Hinata's and concludes that there is a huge gap that can never be closed since opposite poles, yin and yang, never meet. Bro just unlocked the Sadness DLC. Soon the school is over and he gets a surprise call from his father. Yutaka casually questions him about the new stock that he bought, since it is related to his upcoming big allowance boost. His father hesitantly breaks the bad news to him that he made a major blunder at work and sold off their family house. This episode is sponsored by Emotional Damage. Yutaka is shocked to the core, but his father continues that the major part of their business, hotel management, is in the pits. Yutaka is still in a state of disbelief, thinking that his father might have cracked a terrible joke since his hotel chain is too big to crumble. A nervous Yutaka reminds him of the recently bought famous horse, of whom his father was confident that he would make fat stacks. Horse said, "Nay to capitalism." His father blurted out that although the horse performed well, unfortunately, it got injured. Frantically, Yutaka mentions the desert island resort, but his father breaks out that it failed since no one visited it due to an alarming number of snakes. Snake Island, now 100% guest-free. His father informs him that he is greatly indebted and has to go into hiding for some time. He promises him that he will recover and will come for him. But in the meantime, he is on his own. Next, his father mentions a villa where he used to live with Yutaka's mom a long time ago. His father assumes that he might have saved for the rainy days since he has been getting a monthly allowance of 200,000 yen. He puts the last nail in the coffin by mentioning how his mother also left him for being a hopeless spendthrift. He openly declares that he does not know about running a successful business. Lot twist. Monopoly ruined his real life. After exploding the killer bomb, his father hangs up, leaving him completely drained. Yutaka wonders whether he is walking in a living nightmare and believes that someone has played a nasty prank on him. Most of all, he dreads severing ties with his beloved Kanemin. Not the waifu. Anything but the waifu. A panicked Yutaka has no clue about what to do next. Later he arrives at the villa, and he is in for another jolt seeing its worn-out condition. It seems as if the whole place is coming apart, with its broken letterboxes and shattered paint. Bro ordered a mansion, got haunted DLC. He yells in sheer frustration since he was expecting a lavish bungalow in the name of a villa, and is super mad at his father for sending him the wrong address of a place fit for his servants. He is so mad that he accidentally collides with Hinata, carrying loads of groceries and a small child. Both of them are stunned to see each other like that. Guess who moved in next door? Plot twist? Princess. Hinata instructs the little girl to head inside, while our Otaku is speechless to discover a more responsible Hinata. She politely apologizes and requests that he carry the stuff for her inside. Next, she points at a worn-down flat, calling it her home. Utaka.x has stopped working. Curiously, he follows her inside as she announces that she is home. Next, she cuddles the little girl affectionately, introducing her as her little sister Miko. She clarifies that there is a big age difference of 13 years between them. Miko, tiny, cute, and already judging Utaka. She also reveals that she is the oldest of 3 sisters. A baffled Utaka helps her put the groceries in order. When she expresses her gratitude with a slight touch, he is thoroughly flushed and immediately pulls off. He cannot believe that he is in Hinata's house all alone. Touch activated, blush mode engaged. He finally manages to ask her about the washroom and then frantically rushes off. While sitting on the toilet seat, his mind breaks down on the thought of living in the same apartment complex as Hinata. He wonders whether he is in some sort of mysterious gal game, but then he tries to calm himself down by reasoning that he is one gloomy guy while she is a full-of-life girl, and in no way can 2 opposites intersect like that. He runs the tap water to the fullest, trying to flood his mind with open thoughts. He reasons that he prefers a Seiso girl with black hair like Kahneman, and there is no way he will cross paths with a girl like Hinata. Bro wants nun vibes, not neon chaos. He is terrified when an annoyed Hinata barges in, reprimanding him for turning the faucet to the fullest. He apologizes to her tearfully for getting ahead of himself, but she goes on to say that he must not let the water run idly, and then suddenly grabs his hand, rubbing her hands furiously against it, pointing out that a little glob of soap is enough for a wash. Utaka is overwhelmed with abashment. Water bill trauma unlocked. Later, she informs him that the nearest supermarket is giving out huge discounts, and for this reason she went bulk shopping to obtain crazy deals. She mentions that she bought a lot of stuff, and there he goes wasting too much water and soap for nothing. A whisper slips out of his tongue that she is being too stingy. Coupon Queen versus Simp Lord. A furious Hinata barks at him, urging him to repeat his words loudly. Poor Utaka stammers and rectifies himself by saying that he feels Hinata is amazing, putting housewives in a shameless position with her organized spending ways. Instantly, the expression on Hinata's face mellows down as she realizes her harsh behavior. Saved by flattery, critical hit. She instantly blurts out an apology. Unexpectedly, she bursts into tears and begs him not to leak out at school about her buying in bulk and juicing out crazy deals. Having his word, she proudly defends herself that despite both her working parents, she loves money management and calculation skills. Math is her love language. Hinata is impatient to kick him out, but Utaka points upstairs, indicating that his place is right above room 202. Hinata turns green with envy on learning that he has the whole 2-bedroom, dining, and kitchen apartment on his own. According to her, he will be living a king's life in a castle. Meanwhile, she's playing Tetris with family. However, Utaka has opposite feelings towards that apartment since he has been living in a much bigger family house. Hinata realizes that he is having a rough time, but she feels that her own 1-bedroom, lounge, dining, and kitchen apartment is jam-packed with 5 people. Suddenly, an alarm beeps on his phone indicating that it is time for the reservation for Kahneman's reservation event to start. Emergency. Waifu alert level 9000. Instantly he rushes out, shrieking wildly with delight that finally he will be able to see Kahneman in person. The guy is so engrossed in his thoughts that he doesn't realize Hinata is secretly smirking at him. But suddenly it dawns on him that he doesn't have 8,000 yen for the ticket. Reality hit harder than his dad's bankruptcy. Utaka stammers but secretly recalls how lavishly he used to spend money on his simping activities, and now he is empty-handed. He regretfully recalls how people used to warn him about his squandering ways and how he could have properly channeled that money. Flashback sponsored by I Told You So. He is tempted to spend 8,000 yen from his living expenses, but he quickly overcomes that. He displays his helplessness at being stuck between his simping addiction and barely covered living expenses. Yukata can read her mind already, reprimanding him for wasting money like that. Bro fighting the final boss. Budget. To his surprise, Hinata responds that she isn't thinking that way since she feels that he is spending money on something he likes, which is not a crime. She makes a shocking revelation that even she pumps up her passions sometimes, like dyeing her hair every month or spending money on clothes, makeup, and candies. She admits that even though she is constantly criticized for her ways, in the end, it is her own hard-earned money. Candies equals self-care certified. Next, she shows him her bank statement and reveals that most of her income comes from part-time gigs and the ad revenue from blogs and videos. She advises him to manage his simping life seriously, otherwise he will remain empty-pocketed all his life. Yutaka is impressed, thinking that at least they share the same interest in spending money on their passions. Simp smart, not hard. The only difference is that he is dependent on his father, while Hinata is self-provided. He begs her to give him tips on spending and saving. She is confused, so he quickly explains that up until now, he hasn't done any money management, so he is completely clueless about how much food and bills cost monthly. He requests her to guide him in household financial management until he can find a way to simp affordably. Hinata is taken aback and then thinks for a moment. Next, with a mischievous smile, she agrees to help him and mentions that she is quite strict. Congrats, your tutor is now your drill sergeant. An excited Yutaka wonders what his next step should be. To his horror, she pins him to the wall and offers to have a live-in relationship with her. Tutorial skipped. Straight to romance mode. Yutaka is flabbergasted, but Hinata insists that she always wanted a room of her own, so they must try living together. She reveals that she always wanted a place of her own, but her parents are against that, as paying rent for a separate place is out of their budget. She smiles sweetly and asks him again if he would make her his paying guest. Girl said, roommates with benefits of rent. A puzzled Yutaka yells at her to hold her horses since he is kinda conservative and doesn't approve of the idea of a man and a woman living under a single roof. Hinata is thoroughly shocked by seeing his abrupt reaction, but then she quickly composes herself. She explains that rooming together is an ultimate money-saving idea. Budget over morals, economy wins. Yutaka is not convinced, so she frantically continues that splitting living expenses is one of the best financial management methods. He gets jittery on seeing her so cooked up. Suddenly, she hits his sensitive chord that with her rent money, he can always go to Kahneman's event. Yutaka readily agrees to share his space with her with utmost zeal, as simping for Kahneman is the most important thing to him right now. Hinata chuckles at his impatience and decides to bring her stuff the next day. The simping spirit wins again. The next morning, he tries to keep his composure about what heads before him. He is completely startled when Hinata steers up a bicycle in front of him, mentioning that it will take an hour to reach the school on the 2 wheels. Yutaka is electrified since he is not used to the hassle. Bicycle, his worst enemy now. He recalls that whenever he had to take a long train ride for a trip, he would always ask his chauffeur to come pick him up afterward. Even when he had to walk a little, he always took a taxi in the middle. He calculates that it will take only a few hundred on a train, much better than wasting an hour on the bike. Rich boy math strikes again. Hinata reads his mind and becomes furious. Then she explains that a 2-way ticket to school will cost him 964 yen, which will become 43.960 yen for a 6-month pass. She doubts whether he will be able to afford that kind of dough. In the end, she decides that they should save up and mount the bicycle. Soon, she races down the road with a nervous Yutaka closely following her. This ain't Mario Kart, bro. He is in for a rough ride since, being an introvert, these long bike trips are ruthless. However, she keeps on boosting his morale cheerfully. He notices that she is very cute, and surprisingly, he is getting on with her. Crushing while cardioing. Painful combo. Hinata is delighted when he catches up with her and then challenges him to a bike ride uphill. Poor Yutaka is nearly drained of blood to her amusement. A fretful lad ponders that he would have been enjoying the moment so much if he hadn't been put in such a dreadful situation by fate. He wanted love, got leg day. As evening falls after a grueling 2-wheeled journey, they finally make it home. Yutaka collapses in utter exhaustion, grateful just to be off the bike. He literally wobbles due to his sore thighs, much to her amusement, who thinks of him as a newborn baby. He cannot believe that he will have to go through this hell daily, and now he realizes that saving money is not a piece of cake. Welcome to Budget Gym. No pain, no yen. A fully energetic Hinata ushers him to the apartment. She asks him to help her move some furniture. She reveals that she has told her parents that the above flat belongs to her friend, and she will make sure to drop by her house at night so that they don't get any shady ideas. Shady ideas are already renting space here. His shaky response ignites her fury, and she hollers at him to respond immediately when she is talking to him. our jittery boy breaks into a forced smile and expresses his delight in getting her parents' permission. Yutaka becomes self-conscious about her standing centimeters away because he smells like a fish since he wasn't able to bathe yesterday. Fish boy alert. Oh, to regret, but Hinata guesses frantically that he might have been fed up with her lectures about non-wastage. Yutaka assures her that it is not the case, but she becomes out of control, and in her wildness, her foot trips on the bicycle chain, and she falls over him, pinning him down to the ground. Yutaka's blood pressure rises as his cheeks become super red. CPR. Nah, just anime fall physics. She stares at him mischievously, but Yutaka buries his face in his hands. Later, while he is showering in Hinata's bathroom, she leaves a towel for him to use. Another anxiety pang strikes him with the realization that she has already showered before him, and whether the whole situation is okay. Shower thoughts. 100% stress, 0% soap. Suddenly, she yells at him for daydreaming in the shower and wasting water unnecessarily. Instantly, he turns off the shower, awed by her sixth sense. Soon, he hesitantly comes out and picks up a towel placed nearby. Ninja senses activated. He quickly rubs it against his body and realizes that it smells like her and is also a little damp. Out of the blue, Hinata comes along, completely startling him. Towel.x has crashed. She quickly guesses that the poor boy was fantasizing about her. She teases him about being untouched, and the poor lad squirms in the towel further. Noticing his frustration, she quickly explains that she has come for an earring that she left on the sink a while ago, and then leaves. Flirting level, certified chaos. Yutaka sighs in relief because he was not expecting the fun-loving Hinata to poke fun at him. He dresses up and concludes that she would have done the same with her boyfriend. He assures himself that the only woman in his life is Kaname. Simp loyalty, still strong. For now, unknown to him, a very sweaty Hinata is standing outside the bathroom door, freaking out about a boy using her towel for the very first time. The next day, Yutaka shrieks in delight when at last his own tap acquires free-flowing hot water. He keeps on splashing water on his face, enjoying every bit of it. Water unlocked. Achievement complete. All of a sudden, Hinata appears like a ghost, reminding him not to waste water. She discovers that he has already acquired gas and water, so now she doesn't have to lend him her shower space. She quickly rushes downstairs and instructs him to try hard while riding his bicycle. Now Yutaka loathes bike riding as no matter how money-friendly it is still very brutal. Instantly, his mind and intentions take a U-turn when he convinces himself that the body definitely needs exercise to be in good shape. Suddenly, fitness makes sense. In this way, his life gets a kickstart, sharing with Hinata and saving on travel expenses. Yutaka knows that living together needs mutual cooperation from both parties since small things may lead to big arguments. For instance, during a squabble that started an hour ago, Hinata points out that even Yutaka agreed to live together. An annoyed Yutaka protests that he believes in basic courtesy, and nevertheless, she is living in his house. Couples who cook together argue about dishes louder. It all started when Hinata began one of her vlogging sessions. She does further jibber-jabbering, annoying him to the core. Apart from being an ardent money manager, Hinata is a part-timer and also earns money through live streaming. She manages money but can't manage silence. Her attractiveness has earned her a decent fan following, so he guesses that she earns more from vlogging. Yutaka slightly feels attracted to her, but then quickly concludes that the diva Kaname is his one and truly. He promises himself that no matter what, his feelings for Kaname will never change, and with that, unconsciously he begins to sing like a cat stuck in a blender, when suddenly he is thwacked by a frustrated Hinata who reminds him that she is live streaming. Yutaka immediately apologizes. RIP headphone users. Quite flushed, she explains that she cannot let her fans hear a guy's sound coming from her background, or else a steaming scandal will arise. He is baffled, thinking about the possibility of being her boyfriend. Plot twist. The fans ship it. He quickly shuns the idea with a smile, but she completely loses it by mentioning that his song was awful and made her ears bleed. And this is how the whole argument started when he spits out that she is staying at his place, and then a fuming Hinata storms out of his house. That escalated faster than microwave popcorn. Even Yutaka yells at her to leave since he is quite furious at her for making fun of his singing. He stays in his room in the same position for a while and realizes that she actually left. The next day, he spots her in school with her friends. When your do-it partner quits mid-album. Hinata never came back yesterday and left for school all alone in the morning. But then in the first place, they have never been close, so Yutaka tries to shrug off her thoughts and ignores her. Meanwhile, one of Hinata's friends is curious about her abruptly leaving the live stream. She rage quit real life. Hinata quickly makes up an excuse that she got into a fight with her dad. Her friend wonders anxiously whether she has made peace with him. Instantly, Hinata's glance falls on an indifferent Yutaka, wondering whether things would go back to normal. Nothing screams regret like side-eye at school. Even Yutaka is tempted to pick up his cell phone for some reason, but then shrugs off the idea, thinking that they both belong to different worlds. He doesn't feel the need to reconcile since Hinata is not his girlfriend. Rose in denial, but we see the spark. However, quite unconsciously, he clicks on a food recipe called Love Recipe, claiming to wipe out differences between lovebirds. A distressed Yutaka tries to stop himself from doing the unthinkable. Cupid has entered the kitchen. The next thing, he is standing in his kitchen with all the ingredients in front of him, completely doubtful. For now, he decides to rely on Google if stuck. Another thing that led him to the Love Recipe is his inability to afford any at the moment. Budget romance, now with vegetables. Soon, he religiously follows the recipe, instruction by instruction. Finally, the love dish is ready, and he pops a spoonful into his mouth. Meanwhile, even Hinata is mustering up her courage to apologize to him when she hears an alarming crashing and banging sound coming from his apartment. Instantly, she barges inside only to find a messed-up kitchen and a dejected Yutaka on his fours. Yutaka blecks, his face in disgust, since the recipe turns out to be awful despite his adherence to the instructions. Love tastes like burnt disappointment. Hinata is baffled to see the ruckus created in the kitchen when, quite meekly, he admits that he has been preparing an apology for her. At first, Hinata is stunned, but then she breaks into a fit of giggles and apologizes to him. Mood switch, from rage to recipe. She admits that she was quite rude yesterday and promises to be more tolerant in the future. Next, she picks up a lone carrot top from the sink and presents it to him as an apology gift. A puzzled Yutaka points out that it is just a vegetable scrap. Ah yes, love language, compost. An ignited Hinata yells at him that vegetable scraps are not trash since they can be planted in the soil. She claims that the remains are those magical ingredients that make the vegetables grow in an endless cycle. She even passionately shows him some home plants as evidence. Hinata, plant mom level 100. She goes beyond by saying that vegetable remains are like pets that keep on growing with love and care. He's seriously concerned about her mental health and calls her cheap. At first, Hinata is astonished, but then realizes her own stinginess. The girl went from influencer to eco-warrior real quick. She abashedly wonders whether this is normal. Immediately, Yutaka feels bad for her, trying to remember that maybe his own family wasn't normal because he never knew what the maids did with the vegetable remains. Rich kid problems, mystery of the missing peels. Hinata wonders whether he wants to continue cooking together, and he hesitantly agrees. Instantly, she ties up her hair and dons an apron. Then she holds his hand and shows him how to chop veggies on the board. Now this is what they call kitchen chemistry. In no time, a delicious stir-fry is ready, and they both sit down to eat. As he takes a bite, Hinata modestly mentions that it's nothing special but a simple stir-fry that they usually have at home. However, Yutaka loves the taste and cannot believe that such a delicious dish can be made out of vegetable scraps. Scraps? More like gourmet with a glow-up. He hungrily devours the crispy pea sprouts cooked in a flavorful sauce. She flushes excessively on being complimented for the first time. She is so overjoyed that she feels encouraged to cook for him daily. Achievement unlocked. Boyfriend buffet mode. Poor Yutaka is thunderstruck, wondering whether she is proposing to him. However, he cannot control his horses running wild, showing him a delusion of a beautiful housewife carrying kitchen utensils. A real picture of his empty wallet brings him back to earth. Love is free. Groceries are not. When she refreshes her offer, he politely refuses. Hinata doesn't mind and then calls it a night. Secretly, she is pretty much excited about being complimented. Later, Yutaka holds up two little pots named Suzy and Vamy and decides to grow something in them. From cooking disasters to plant dad, what a glow-up. The scene shifts to Yukata at his part-time job at a restaurant with Hinata-san. This is because, to save money to keep on simping, he needs to have a source of income. However, he has been given the most dreaded job ever, customer service, because people scare him. Bro's worst enemy is small talk. He does not want to see mushy couples or intimidating bikers. In fact, he doesn't want to work at all but cuddle up and watch Kahneman's anime. Out of the blue, Hinata appears, literally slamming her body into his. frantically ordering him to stop daydreaming. Job description: get wrecked by coworkers. She yells at him that table 42 is calling over him for service. He stands dumbstruck when Hinata gives him another body shove to move, since the restaurant is going through a rush hour. Yutaka groans in frustration, so she assures him that once he gets used to it, work will become fun for him. Yeah, and cows will fly. Quite reluctantly, he goes to his said table and ponders that maybe Hinata's personality is more suitable for this kind of work. However, he is completely bewildered to see several Kahneman magazines sprawled on the table. He instantly wonders whether those are the goods from last year's national tour. Plot twist: customer is a bigger fan than him. The customer is impressed by his knowledge and calls him a man of culture, having good Kahneman taste. Predictably, he loses his focus and frets over the fact that he never seems to win any raffles for this stuff. It is then that a very smiley Hinata appears from behind, apologizing to the customer for disrupting his meal. Hinata be sneaking in like a ninja boss. Later, she condemns him for being so lightheaded and mentions that even the boss is mad at him. Yutaka apologizes for losing control since it's not every day one meets a fellow Kahneman fan. A mellowed Hinata assures him that he doesn't need to be hard on himself on his first day. Therapist: and how does that make you feel? Next, they sit at a booth to eat something, and he realizes that free meals are probably one of the perks of the restaurant. When he goes through the menu, he finds the dishes quite reasonably priced. Now this ignites Hinata, who snaps at him for calling stuff cheap when he normally doesn't know the price of anything. Budget Queen activated. According to her, 500 to 600 yen for a meal is quite expensive. It is okay to get it once in a while, but otherwise it will wreck one's budget. Yutaka reminds her that she always has lunch while working. An exhilarated Hinata reveals that this is because she has an employee meal discount and workers can get anything on the menu for 300 yen except the high-priced items. Yutaka squirms unpleasantly because her stingy side has come out again. But she keeps on blabbering that it is the best feature of the job, and one gets to know the menu better. Welcome to How to Save Money 101. She still feels that 300 yen is too much to pay for food, but one must prioritize their health as well. Soon they choose a dish from the menu, but Yutaka is a little uneasy since it is his first time coming to a restaurant like this, and also having lunch with a girl. Since Hinata is not in her uniform, so from a third person's view it appears that they are on a date. Restaurant staff shipping them already. His fears come true when a waitress brings them food and guesses that they are a couple. A shocked Hinata inquires about how she knows. Instantly she clarifies that she is joking and that they are not dating. Too late. The rumor mill is spinning. She whispers mischievously in his ears that since they are living together, they give that couple vibe. During the meal, Hinata keeps him updated with the latest gossip about the most happening stuff in live streaming and other trivial things. Meanwhile, Yutaka is completely clueless about what to say. He needs subtitles and a pause button. He wishes there were dialogue options just like in gaming interfaces or a button to skip conversation. Next, he is bombarded with the most unexpected of questions about him having a girlfriend. A vexed Yutaka guesses that she is teasing him, so he just cleverly dodges her. Achievement unlocked. Awkward silence. But a smarter Hinata instantly figures out that he is hiding a cat in a bag, so she keeps on probing him about his mystery girl. Meanwhile, Yutaka is thoroughly annoyed at her nosiness. Still, he confesses that he doesn't have one, so she makes a shocking revelation that even she hasn't been in a relationship before. Both single, both confused. Cute. Yutaka feels closer to her despite their differences. Suddenly, he notices that her face has turned tomato red, even though she hides her face behind the menu card. Hinata is eager to tell him that, apart from the employee discount, there is a family discount coupon as well. Girls blushing over coupons now. Relatable. He is puzzled because what was there to blush about then? Hinata wanted to mention that to him before, but she realizes that he cannot use that coupon on his own. So his parents and siblings can get that kind of discount, and in this way he can help everyone save money. Whole family's about to eat like royalty. Next she yells in excitement, lauding the restaurant business, but Yutaka is thoroughly flustered at her for getting too excited about saving money. They are creating such a ruckus that someone calls out to them to shut up. "Shut up and eat," says the voice of reason. Hysterically, she expresses her concern about the manager eavesdropping on their conversation and considering her a miser. In Yutaka's opinion, everyone might have guessed that about her. Instantly, they both apologize to the manager. Too late, the damage is done. Soon their shift is over, and Hinata wants his valuable feedback. A droopy Yutaka claims that it has been quite exhausting. Next, she is quite inquisitive about his first pay. Drumroll for disappointment. Yutaka brings out the envelope handed by the manager and opens it to reveal 4,000 yen as his daily income. He drops down on the floor dejectedly, unbeen paid peanuts after standing tirelessly and talking to people. A harsh reality hits him that making money is so hard. Welcome to adulthood, bro. Another thing falls from the envelope, which turns out to be a sticky note. It is a spiky note from the manager instructing him to take it easy on flirting. Yutaka glares at Hinata, who instantly looks away in another direction aloofly, caught in the act of existing. He yells in frustration that everyone is getting the wrong idea about them. However, she takes it lightly, assuring him that the manager might be pulling his leg. With that, she walks away indifferently. Girl dropped the mic and left. Later, Yutaka addresses his father, proclaiming that after his first day on the job, he feels confident to explain to him the importance of money. Still, he is clueless about how to spend his hard-earned money. Financially enlightened, still broke. One day, while changing clothes, Hinata realizes that she is quite bored with her previous outfits and decides to sell them. Soon, she puts all her outfits in a box and is excited about the whopping number of dresses she has. Next, she rushes towards Yutaka's room, wondering whether he wants to sell something. Girl's turning her wardrobe into a business plan real quick. However, to her surprise, the poor lad is crying buckets. It is revealed that the wacko has been watching Kahneman's first live concert, which always makes him cry. She also discovers that his luggage has been delivered to him from his home. Bro's crying like his Wi-Fi just died. To her delight, her gaze falls on a carton labeled to sell. She instantly picks it up to sell the items on the flea market app. She claims that in this way, they can always buy more things. Recycling, but make it capitalism. She instructs him to gather up all the stuff that he doesn't need anymore and then sell it for a decent amount. Now Yutaka only has a t-shirt that he once bought on the middle school field trip. However, he is doubtful whether anyone would need it. Hinata stares at him thoughtfully and finds him quite demotivated. That shirt's got more nostalgia than actual value. She narrates to him the time when she was short on money. At that time, she used to pick pretty stones and shiny glass pieces. And then, at her grandma's place in the country, she gathered acorns, pine cones, and locust husks. Nature was her side hustle. Then together, she sold the whole stuff for 1,200 yen. Her face dazzles with pride when she describes her quest, but a worried Yutaka wonders about her dignity. But Hinata is not at all ashamed because she feels that there is always a buyer out there whenever one has anything to sell. She really said, "One man's trash is another man's weird Etsy order." However, a disgusted Yutaka thinks of her as a desperate penny pincher. Next, she asks him to think of his treasures, and he is certain that his stuff is much better than locusts and stones. He picks up a stuffed cat and claims that, according to his dad, it is worth 100,000 yen. This ain't a cat, it's a luxury investment. Also, he has some amazing branded stuff to her awe. To his surprise, Hinata breaks down in tears thinking that he has so much money and yet doesn't know its value. She instantly composes herself and decides to post those unrequired items online. Drama level, shopping cart full. Next is taking pictures of those items in front of ample sunlight. Yutaka smartly places a white sheet in the background for a better effect. He guesses that she is very experienced in this regard from taking selfies. Influencer mode activated. For the description part, she suggests that they should just be honest and write a heartbreaking write-up about her family being bankrupt and out of money, and how they are barely making ends meet by selling stuff bit by bit. At some point, she realizes that it seems very low, but Yutaka reminds her that the truth is more important. Next, they decide on the price of the 100 grand worth stuffed cat, so he suggests putting a price of 50,000 yen. Stuffed cat about to pay off student loans. However, looking at its worn-out condition, Hinata suggests 20,000 yen. Yutaka is slightly disappointed, so she explains that it will be great if he even gets 20,000 yen for it because many penny pinchers are sitting in this cheap land that will bid an even lower price. Soon the ad is posted. Meanwhile, Hinata decides how to spend the money they get. Budgeting level, chaos. She brings forth the stuff she wants to sell, and for the first time, Yutaka notices her weird outfit. He points out to her, so she is kinda surprised because online the outfit looked quite cute. But once she tried it on, she found it quite bogus. Expectation, fashion queen, reality, laundry day. To Yutaka's horror, she casually pulls off her top as if she were doing it in front of her girlfriends. Soon she models several outfits in front of him, waiting for his precious advice. She is startled when a thoroughly ashamed lad turns his face away since her absurd clothes make him stare. Fashion show turned awkward real quick. Hinata then dons a full dress that is kinda better than others. But when she finds no response from him, she decides to sell it. Unexpectedly, he blurts out that it is not as sleazy as others. Accidental compliment unlocked. Hinata is delighted because she can never tell what an outfit looks like on her. She realizes that he fancies the fully covered dresses, so she decides to keep that one. In no time, the message beeps on the phone, and an excited Yutaka announces that someone is interested in buying his cat. Fluffy money incoming. However, the buyer wants him to sell it for 15,000 yen. With that, they indulge in another roar of laughter. With a sheepish smile, Hinata suggests they could have helped him if he were so needy. But the girls keep on laughing at the fact that money can actually be managed. Financial literacy? Never heard of her. So when Hinata weakly tries to defend him, they toss out a spark of mockery at her. Hirai feels that Hinata just sounds like her mom. Shoji claims that such lame ideas don't seem fitting for a popular influencer like her. Influencers don't coupon, they influence. Hinata has no choice but to agree. Meanwhile, a distressed Yutaka is sitting outside on the bench since he has not been able to grab a single fish. He feels that the task is too grueling for an introvert like him. Fishing for friends, 0 bites so far. Hinata walks towards him and silently perches on the bench. Yutaka notices her blues, and then she apologizes to him for dragging him into her lame hobbies. A shocked lad is clueless about where it is heading as he wasn't forced, and he found interest in such a drag topic. Lame hobbies? Bro's in deep now. Like a bolt from the blue, Hinata perks up and insanely wonders whether he finds her attractive, and a baffled Yutaka affirms. She springs up in a daze and claims that she has been made to grab the limelight. Hinata.x is glitching. To keep everyone believing that, she has to keep her thrifty self undercover. But then she knows that the stingy Hinata isn't very attractive, so the whole thing is tangled up. Yutaka doesn't understand what's wrong with having a layered personality. She's not two-faced, she's just budget edition. He explains that now he understands that everyone is gray-shaded after hanging out with her. He admits that he used to despise her popular and flashy demeanor, always hanging out in groups and making fun of loners like him. He used to think that she was a party girl who was always worried about being in the spotlight. Bro went from enemy to simp real quick. He still doesn't understand what attractiveness means to such extroverts. According to him, the real Hinata is the stingy one who loves saving money, as that makes her happy. He confesses that he really finds that side of her very cute. Saving money is sexy now. Inflation hits hard. A wide-eyed Hinata stares at him in a stupor. Suddenly, he realizes that he has blurted out too much than usual and frantically apologizes to her. He mentions that even his beloved Kahneman might be having bad habits behind closed doors, so it's really okay. Even waifus aren't perfect. Hinata's face breaks into a smile, thinking that if some people find it okay, then she can always keep her cheap self. Instantly, she points at her phone, indicating that now they must focus on collecting points to buy new gadgets for the house. Yutaka warns him not to go berserk. Plot twist. This is actually a financial thriller. He calls her a frugal nut. Soon she registers him, but he still has a long way to go. Very coyly, she clarifies that she is not a miserly Grinch about everything, like for a special someone whom she adores. She is very spendthrift about her feelings. All feelings. The only thing she spends freely. Yutaka is boggled, but she drags him along. Soon she introduces him to Hirai and Shoji as her friend, and in no time, they end up becoming his referrals on the app. On the other hand, a strange young lady is looking for him. Avo, cliffhanger alert. Who dat girl? A flashback reveals a strange little girl crying as Yutaka departs, making him promise to return. In the present, Yutaka answers his doorbell and is stunned to see the same girl, now a grown woman, declaring that she's come back for him and they're getting married. Yutaka, confused and unable to recognize her, tries to react but is suddenly shoved into a luxury car. Bro didn't order Uber, but got VIP kidnapped. He pleads for help, but it's too late. He's been abducted. In the car, she tearfully tells Nogoji-kun that his family doesn't need to pay any ransom because she's not kidnapping him for money. She came to get him since he never returned. She takes him to a luxury penthouse near Tokyo Tower and invites him to stay with her. Kidnapping, but make it luxury. Yutaka is dazzled by the place. She even gives him a brand new phone and a debit card, saying she'll cover all his expenses. Still dazed, he checks the phone and discovers the account belongs to Hishikawa Mo, his childhood friend. Imagine getting robbed with a debit card in your name. He recalls that the Hishikawa family founded the watch brand Hishix and is one of the richest families in Japan. Mo and Yutaka were kindergarten buddies. Back then, she was bright and cheerful, but now she's totally unrecognizable. Childhood glow-up turned into a corporate villain arc. Yutaka relaxes in luxury, bathing, snacking, and watching TV, but Mo's earlier words about marriage bother him. He remembers they lost touch after kindergarten, and even their New Year card tradition faded away. Now the sudden reconnection feels bizarre, from crayons to contracts real fast. He reflects on how different his mindset is now, seen in how he conserves resources like water and electricity, even in such a posh place. Feeling uneasy, he lies down and wonders what Hinata might be doing, probably streaming or shopping for deals. Suddenly overwhelmed, he decides to leave. Man's loyalty powered by budget thoughts. Just then, Hishikawa walks in. Surprised he remembered her name, she smiles, but Yutaka clarifies that his memories are vague. He tells her she doesn't need to provide him with a place, he already has one. Ro tried to leave, but the plot said, nope. But Mo pulls out a document, claiming it's proof of their promise, signed by their parents. Yutaka, stunned, grabs it and sees a kiddish marriage registration form declaring Mo and Yutaka as husband and wife. Mo proudly says it's from kindergarten and that she even framed it. Kindergarten, where snacks and weddings happen. Yutaka is mortified and tells her this was just childish play. Mo agrees, but suddenly pounces on him, pinning him to the bed. She puckers her lips and comes close. Sir, this is not the spa treatment you ordered. Yutaka panics and begs her to stop. Then Mo notices messages from Hinata on his phone and instantly backs off, demanding an explanation. Yutaka admits he lives with someone, but it's not romantic, just practical. It's not love, it's rent splitting. Mo is furious, feeling betrayed after waiting 10 years. Yutaka insists he didn't mean to mislead her, and they both rush to his apartment. Hinata is surprised to see Kongoji with a girl. Plot twist entrance. Girlfriend vs. housemate incoming. Hishikawa introduces herself as Yutaka's fiancé, while Hinata proudly says she lives with him. She's thrilled to see Yutaka's cute girlfriend, while Mo responds with a polite, snobby tone. Yutaka tries to speak, but the girls are already bonding. Man became background character in his own drama. Mo notices Yutaka's budget lifestyle. Hinata proudly explains how they save money together and split rent. Mo smiles mischievously, recalling their secret childhood hideout where she declared she'd one day be a CEO and steal money from peasants to pay their rent. Girl went from sandbox to stock market villain. Yutaka is stunned by her childhood villain arc, but Hinata is enchanted by the story and Mo's childhood confidence. Hinata expresses admiration, saying she loves kids and envies their childhood friendship. Mo, with pride, adds that Yutaka even came to her birthday party. One party and she declared eternal love. Yutaka vaguely remembers being forced by his dad to attend and win Mo's heart. Mo boasts that even his father saw her as his bride. He quietly tells Hinata that Mo's version isn't exactly true. His dad only liked Mo because of her wealth. Parental matchmaking, sponsored by net worth. Mo senses their closeness and tries to intervene, insisting Kongoji is hers. Hinata calmly proposes they eat dinner together. She asks Yutaka to bring something from the balcony. Nothing solves drama like shared carbs. Curious, Mo asks about what's on the balcony. Hinata introduces her beloved mustard spinach plant, named Yukishi, and tearfully explains how she and Yutaka grew it together. She calls it their baby. The baby is leafy and photosynthesizes. Mo is shocked, thinking they sound like a real couple. Yutaka clarifies it's just a 68 yen plant, but Hinata insists even Yukichi has feelings. Mo, overwhelmed, drops to her knees. Love triangle feet, mustard spinach. She suddenly challenges them to a savings match. Each must prepare a savings dinner, and Nogoji-kun will judge which meal tastes better while being more cost-efficient. He knows this is a bad idea since Mo has no savings streak, but Hinata is super excited and accepts instantly. Forget Iron Chef. Welcome to Iron Wallet. Despite Yutaka's protests, the match is set. The battle of the fiancé versus the housemate has officially begun. May the cheapest win. Hinata dances animatedly after being challenged in an exclusive savings dinner battle by Mo. She wonders if she can have the first turn. Mo agrees readily. Girls ready to cook like she's in MasterChef. Budget edition. Hinata quickly assembles the ingredients in front of her and calls them Team Hinata. Now she has to prepare a cost-conscious dinner out of chicken, tofu, onion, regrown yukichi, dashing miso and panko cabbage. Yutaka has also been given the job of being a commentator. He's not ready for Gordon Ramsay mode, but here we go. Hinata gets busy doing her favorite job while humming merrily. Meanwhile, Mo questions Yutaka about whether Hinata is his type. Yutaka explains frantically that both belong to different worlds since she is one of the friendlier types. Bro just dodged the question like it was a dodgeball. Mo already thinks she is very cute and has discovered that she also has social and cooking skills. Still, Mo is adamant that she will not lose that battle and will bring him home. Poor Yutaka is intimidated by her competitive spirit. He's not the prize, he's the whole supermarket coupon. Hinata is finished with her task, which consists of rice, a tofu hamburger, shredded cabbage, and miso soup with cabbage and yukichi. Yutaka is all excited when she serves both of them. Next, she appeals to the judges about her sense of savings. Welcome to The Price is Right, Dinner Edition. She has used tofu instead of hamburger meat along with some regrown veggies to add a nice color. She claims that the wholesome dinner has cost her a mere 120 yen. Yutaka takes a bite and gives her a thumbs up for a delicious dinner. When cheap meets yum, it's a win for the tummy. An excited Hinata questions him about the part that makes it more delicious. Yutaka ponders deeply while Hinata is keen to know about the flavors. She poses raunchily while mentioning whether it is the delicate moist patty or those hot knife skills that are too intense to handle. Knife skills so sharp they cut through his soul. Now Yutaka cannot go that deep, so he just declares it tasty. Soon he asks Mo to taste some as well. Mo takes a spoonful, and her eyes widen in surprise. She wasn't ready for that tofu power punch. Next, she composes herself and declares that the food is good. She pulls out a list of issues that the food has, such as lacking a flavorful sauce or topping, and a green salad would have done wonders instead of a mere shredded cabbage. Hinata mentions with a straight face that passing too many comments is also a problem. Food critique unlocked. Mo the flavor judge. Next, it's Mo's turn, and he is really concerned about what she will be doing. Mo is not worried since she has been doing a lot of reading. He is curious whether she even plans on cooking, and a curt no blows him away. Plot twist. She's ordering like a queen. Soon, a delivery man arrives with some food, claiming that he has an order for Mo. Yutaka is annoyed, but Mo casually takes the parcel and serves the contents in front of them. Surprisingly, a cheerful Hinata thinks that delivery is convenient but expensive. When your enemy cooks nothing but still slays. She is struck by an electric current when Yutaka reveals its price of a whopping 5 grand, only for 3 people. Mo points out that it was never decided that what has to be saved. She declares that unlike Hinata, who is keen on saving money, she believes in saving time, one of the most important resources. She's saving time like it's a limited edition NFT. She emphasizes the teachings of the Hishikawa family of watchmakers that every moment is precious and time is money. She elaborates that Hinata can make dinner in 30 minutes while she can order in just 5 minutes and then spend the rest of the time reading. Hinata is awestruck as the very imperial Mo continues that by committing to self-investment, she will one day be ruling the whole Hishikawa empire, and with that, she can always support Yutaka. Sis just turned food into a TED Talk. Very confidently, she self-declares herself the winner of the contest. Quite delightfully, Hinata accepts her decision and claps hard. Hinata accepts her defeat heartily, and a reluctant Yutaka officially declares Mo the winner. Girl lost the battle but won the paycheck. Abimi Mo urges him to come home so that without wasting further time, they can indulge in their prenups. Yutaka refuses, insisting that his home is here, and he has no plans of leaving it. He informs her that he is waiting for his father to fetch him. Dude's still waiting like he ordered an Uber. However, he feels that the balance between time and money is not a bad idea, and if he has more time, he can always spend it with his beloved Konoman. Plot twist. Love triangle just became a pentagon. Mo nearly gets a heart attack on learning that she has yet another rival to face. She is even more shocked to learn that Hinata is already aware of Konoman. Yutaka's face swells up like a balloon at the thought of spending time with her on her birthday. Mo cannot believe that he's the playboy, and she is a mere third. Out of sheer distress, Mo drops unconscious to the duo's anxiety. She passed out like a phone on 1% battery. Even lying flat on the ground, she keeps on cursing him, realizing that her battle to win the man of her dreams has just begun. Love isn't war. Unless you're Mo, then it's both.